So each week I think we're going to just give a little overview of the Contender series. What went down? And this is week 1 of season 9. Season 9, right? That is crazy. So we have 5 fights, It's shorter than the usual offering, which is always fun, but you get something midweek and it's not too, you're not up too late and all of that jazz, but it's just, some fun fights most of the time, right? And I think this really did emphasize something, but let's get to it, right? So our opening fight of the night was the middleweights. We had Christopher Ewert against Yuri Panferov. And I believe Panferov had been on the Contender series previously. This was his second time. Panferov won, right? And he utilized takedowns. Now, he did okay on the feet, right? He did land some hard shots. I think Ewert landed a couple, and then that made Panferov decide to take it down. And I think after the first takedown, kind of realized, I could just take him down. It was a bit like, Hernandez Delite, It was kind of easy for Panferov to get those takedowns. And when you look at it, they weren't overly well set up, right? You just think, like that would get stuffed. That was mad telegraphed, right? These kind of things. But Panferov was able to take them down. But once he did get them down, he wasn't this, over effort to get the fight finished, and Ewert wasn't exactly making the best efforts to stand up and to, put himself in better positions. So after this fight, I think you got the feeling, I don't think either's, obviously Ewert wouldn't get a contract, but I don't think Panferov is getting one. But, we've seen differently. We then had the featherweights, right? We had George Mangos against Radley de Silva. And I think Mangos, boy, I'm struggling. He was 7-0. He's undefeated coming into this. Now, De Silva was 7-1. So, it's well matched. But De Silva, again, like the first, he was taking this to the floor with ease, essentially. Taking it down. And I think we saw some kind of fun scrambles and everything like that. But De Silva, he was controlling it on the ground. He wasn't doing any damage. He wasn't, right, I'm in this position, I'm going to strike, I'm going to land some elbows, because then that will open up this choke, or it will lead me to this. We weren't seeing that. It kind of reminded me, and let me finish, because, it kind of reminded me of early Merab, right? And when I say that, now, because the thing is, Merab would be looking to land damage, right? But in those early fights in the UFC, it was kind of like, I'm going to take you here. Oh, actually, I could take you here. Oh, I could take you there. And so he would kind of rush through things. And sometimes he would lose position because of that. But Merab would always still look to do damage. And that's the big difference. The Silva was not. So there were times when Mangros was able to get on top. I think there's a couple of times he got on top. And he did land some big shots, but it was very few and far between. But the difference was the Silva wasn't doing that, you know? And Mangros, like, he went for a heel hook a few times. Just not the wisest thing to do unless you are a specialist, right? If you've won by heel hook, 10 times back to back, right? Every time you drop for it, you land it. Once you're in, you are in and someone ain't shaking you off. If you are that motherfucker, fine. If you are not, hey, don't do it, man. Puts you in a bad position. And kind of that's what we kept on seeing. So Da Silva easily won the fight. Mad control, all of that jazz. Just, there was no urgency to get the finish, to get the job done. And we know that is a thing, right? We go to the middleweights again, right? We had Talha against Susurkaev, who will tell you he trains with Chimaev and just a bunch of killers. And listen, we've heard a load of people say stuff like that and just never deliver. This was not the case, though. It was on the feet, right? Susurkaev he was always looking to land. Now, early on, he hit a body kick, right? And Talha caught that kick. But Susurkaev was able to keep his balance, landing big shots, right? While hopping backwards. You know what I mean? Like, in that exchange, Susurkaev was the one that probably did the most, even though he was in the worst position. So, yeah, he was doing well. And then he hit a front kick to the body that just crumpled Talha. Oh, man. And the thing was, Susurkaev saw Talha hit the ground and was just like, yeah, it's done. And doesn't even, like, at first you can see him looking to think, right, let me land. And then he just saw the dude on the floor and just like, yeah, this is done. And it was a walk away finish. It was terrible. Oh, right. When you saw the slow-mo, the kick and the toes digging into the body, you're just like, oh, boy, no, thank you. But it was funny. Like, you knew where the night was when you heard Dana say to Susurkaev, thank you, man, you saved the night. You know what I mean? So you're just like, oh, I think I know, what's the deal with the first two fighters, right? I think I know what's happening with that. So then we go to the welterweight. We had Jimmy Drago against Ty Miller. And, Drago had been on Unfiltered and I think I'd seen him do other interviews talking about, his life. He was a former heroin addict and all of this, which is fine, right? I don't really care about that. I mean, it's one of the things I like the most about the Contender series. It's just fights. Like, the Ultimate Fighter is fun, that's fine, but I don't really care about, backstory and I miss my family and just all of that jazz. Right? Now, recovering from heroin, getting your life on track, that is fire. That is fantastic. You know what I mean? You're using something to help you do that thing, which is great. But, yeah, I don't care. You know what I mean? All I care about is, can you fight? Right? Can you fight? And I will say, Drago can fucking fight. Right? It's all well and good giving all of these interviews and then just not doing the thing once you get in the cage. Drago can fight. Drago showed a lot of fucking heart. Problem was, Ty Miller's a giraffe, as Drago would say. Like, that was so funny. He came back to the court, but that giraffe is good, right? Because Miller, hey, he was using his reach, the jab, the kicks. Ty Miller was putting it together so well. And he hurt Drago several times, you know? And as I said, to his credit, Drago never gave up. Kept on coming forward, which was great. I mean, all power to Drago. But Ty Miller looked really good. He really did. You know, wasn't able to get the finish, but he looked good. And then our featured fight of the night, we went back to the middleweights. Right, we had Neemias Santana against Ilian Bouafia. And this was such a weird fight. Oh my god. Right. It was back and forth. They were both doing his thing. You thinking Santana was maybe getting the better of it. He gets a takedown. And then he headbutts Bouafia. Like, it wasn't an accident. He just went bonk. And you're just like, what the fuck just it was this? At first you're like, oh, on the takedown, like, did he just kind of, you know, his momentum take him into him, and then you just watch it and you're just like, no, he intentionally headbutt, which was so bizarre. Now, props, Herzog, there was no, oh, this is a hard, it was just like, I'm taking a point. I do feel for something like that, and when it's that intentional, it should be 2 points, right? That's what I think. It should have been 2 points, but I respect the fact that point was just taken. Bouafia probably he should have just not fought. Because I imagine they would have given him another fight at the end of the season, you know? I don't think he should have fought. Because I don't think you can be like, oh, I'm better, but I don't think you're going to recover that quickly, you know? And yeah, we didn't really see Bouafia do a lot, especially in the third. He didn't throw much in the second. He threw a bit more in the third, but not a lot. But then Santana didn't either. It was a very lackluster, right? Very lackluster, which is so bizarre, right? So, you knew where this was going at the end of it, right? Susurkaev got a contract, of course, and so did Ty Miller, and I think that's fair, right? Now, Bouafia didn't get one, right? The Silva didn't get one. Panferov didn't get one. And I think the thing being, this is season 9. It's season fucking 9, people, right? You should know at this point what this is. You know? Like, when you're in the Contender series, it's not just eking out a win. It's putting on a performance. And the performance doesn't even have to be you got to get a stoppage, right? But if you are looking to win, if you are putting everything into this, you're not at the end going, oh, I could go another 5. No, you should be like, oh, fuck, that was exhausting. That should be you at the end of this. You know what I mean? And it's season 9. You know that. You have heard everyone, like Dana, the commentators. You have heard everyone voice what's expected, what this is. It's a fucking job interview, right? They say it at the beginning of the show, and it is a job interview. You know what I mean? So why aren't you putting your all into it? And especially if this is like your second time on the show, and you still do not put everything into it, then of course you're not getting a fucking contract, right? Of course you're not. So yeah, some of these performances were very bizarre considering what this is, you know, and the fact you know what this is. So what are you doing? You know what I mean? What the fuck are you doing? This is the other thing, right? Sometimes, and there was that Irish guy didn't get a contract, but he got signed by Bellator, and that can happen, right? But you have to at least look good. At least look good for another promotion to be like, okay, right, if the UFC don't want him, I'll take him. You know what I mean? But if you don't even do that, you have wasted this moment. Wasted this moment to put your name out into the world. But hopefully, right, everyone now watching this, right, the fighters for next week are going to be like, fuck, yeah, we cannot do that. We have to fucking, you know what I mean? So yeah, hopefully next week will be a lot better. You know what I mean? But yeah, that was week 1, season 9 of the Contender series.